gremlins. Let me just try and sort this shit out. Let's turn my cell up again. Live chat. I'm here, live. That was a recording. What's the point to this? Does anybody know? I'm sitting here thinking, wondering, you know, this skin, you know, this is an astronaut, this is a spacesuit, this skin, that's what it is. The skin we have, this look, is a spacesuit, an atmospheric suit. It allows us to live on this planet. So what would happen if I took the skin off? I'm not asking anybody to do that, I'm just wondering when you think about it. You look, it's just reptilian. It's an actual disguise. You know, part of their journey is to keep yourself in good condition. But how can you do that when they're promoting junk food and laziness, and they're allowing people to make money from, you know, drug trafficking, slave trafficking, children trafficking. I mean, that's a very negative pulse being generated, and people actually empower these evils by naming them, by giving them their known name. I don't believe in doing that. The people are being arrested for involvements with rituals on islands owned by elite, you know, media people and the likes, right? And actually naming them empowers them. That's all it does, it gives them power, right? So when you're doing this, you're taking part in a ritual event, honouring and resonating an energy. Even though it's electronic, it still exists, it still gets out there, it's the Ethernet, you know, so it's still there. When you're talking about these people on your little videos, just remember that you're empowering their name and their mark by doing that. At least use reference to people who are going to do good. You know, I'm not a religious person, I wouldn't suggest, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect other people's religions, because I do, because that's how they're brought up, you know. But at the same time, you have to remember that there are even more ancient stories out there that go on about reptilians, and it always makes me wonder, why a reptilian? Why not something else? Why is it? Because it means that that is what they were involved with. They were involved with a type of life form that was reptilian. That was a very advanced reptilian. But the reptilian itself didn't want to be known, it didn't want to be seen, it wanted to remain in the background and control. So it created a skin, an astronaut skin, a space suit, you know, human skin, so that it wouldn't be identified to its enemies, and also wouldn't reveal itself. You see, there's lots of aspects to this reptilian thing that could capture your imagination for thousands of years. I actually have a co-host that I'm still waiting on, that doesn't seem to exist. I didn't actually plan to do this on my own either, but this is the way it is. Before you can exist, right, you need to know what it is you're existing for. If you're only existing to have, you know, material things, then I don't know what to say. Maybe, well, not maybe, I mean, let's just hope that things go your way, right? You know, you have to be annihilated before you see the truth. That's what I'm going to say to you. If you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know, what I'm saying to you doesn't make sense, and that's fine. You know, that's good. I've done a lot of swearing and I've done a lot of sarcastic things in my recent videos, which I've done, so they're out there. People out there that know what they're saying will react the same way when they realise that what they're dealing with in viewers are retards, troublemakers, people like that. They're also being controlled by, you know, the controller. People are becoming very sick of it, you know. We're becoming sick of people who are leaving snidey comments and trying to insinuate things that just are pure lies, right? Knowing that everybody's confused, everybody's wondering what the hell's going on, you know. All the snakes are coming out, all the people are coming out that are troublemakers, and they're going to, you know, call the police, or the, you know, just any reason they can to get, you know, their voice out there, you know. Most of them will fall by the wayside, right? We'll find out who they are, right? When I ask for support, I'm not doing it. All I'm asking is for people to at least support each other, right? Don't say you support somebody, actually support them. You know, say hello now and again. There was a whole point why I done the G Willie video, was for that reason. You know, whether you believe what the person is going on about is irrelevant. Why are you on the channel? You know, if you're on the channel just to tell them that they're crazy and to shit stir and that, then you've got mental issues, because nobody's doing that to you. Where's your channel? Because when you do it to me, I'm going to go and look to see what your channel is. Most of the time, the people that do it, I've got nothing on their channel, you know. So anybody who's involved in their form of art, creativity, whatever it may be, sky watching, I've moved on. I'm now looking at our society. I'm now looking at it being controlled by an advanced form of life, right? And the only way they're controlling it is because we are part of them, they are part of us. So it makes you wonder, what is this? Well, I believe the ancients figured it out, and I believe that they figured out how to use the reptilian brain to their advantage, right? Because I don't believe that the overlords can control your deep state of mind, your subconsciousness, and I believe that they can only manipulate it because they installed a reptilian brain in the likeness of them, you know. So that's what I believe is going on there. This is 2020. I don't really need to quote the Bible or anything like that, because I believe that that's another trick, right? The first Bible was John Whitfield. He released 4, I think it was, I can't remember exactly when it was, the 15th century, and King James, I think it was, had him tortured and burnt at the stake as a heretic. So the John Whitfield Bible, that's the first Bible, the first printed book on the first printing press, which was in Hanover, Germany. The first ever printer printed the first ever book, which was the John Whitfield Bible, right? So people go on about the Bible, oh, it's in the Bible. No, it's not in the, right, the Bible was only created in the 15th century, right? The Bank of England also came into play. This is when you had your problems, right, with the dispersing of Europeans, right? This was a big event. That was to do with, you know, your plantations and enslaving nations, which are still enslaved to the present day. One of them being Venezuela. Brazil's been trapped in it for a long time, but Venezuelans are suffering because Pepsi and Fanta, Perignon were involved with China what China was doing was they were going around the world and going into the water tables of all the, how do you say, the poorer nations, you might call them, or nations that had dodgy governments, and they were mining the water table. So you would have a water plant next to a place that was like a shanty town that had to steal water, which was a criminal offence, from the water place right next door to them. Actually there, right beside them. And they couldn't get water, yet the water was getting taken from their water table for Pepsi, Fanta, Perignon by the Chinese, and then getting sold back to them again. So that's what was going on there. That's now ending too. But what's going on in Venezuela is another thing as well, because you've got different spying operations in there and different agitators, right? So nobody really knows what's going on. What's actually going on is the country's being manipulated by different forces. They're being, on one hand, they're being given money, right? And on the other hand, their mineral wealth and their value has been taken away from them. So they've been left with something that is they've got no money. The world banking and the economies were crushed, right? When it was getting crushed in the stock exchange, the great gambling hall, the bingo hall, whatever you want to call it, right? The rich man's casino, that was trading away the wealth of all these countries and all their banks, all their currencies, right, which have no value whatsoever. So that, like we were saying, this is all controlled. This is to break the spirit, right, of all these countries. So then what they do is they implement their second stage, right? The second stage is the workforce, right? Now they've got a lot of workers now that they don't have jobs for. So what do you do with all these workers? Well, you start to manipulate them. You start to slowly pull them apart. You start to, you know, take away their worth, their purpose. You start to split them up by crying one against another. You know, crying someone's sins because they don't match yours. You know, and then in amongst it all, you've got, you know, the media. The media is built up on hypocrisy, it's built up on death, it's built up on the stock market. I mean, these things are built up. You've got Maxwell, right? His daughter, right? Sorry, I named somebody there. Sorry for empowering people. So I'm a hypocrite. But anyway, accidental. His daughter has been involved in shady business for a long time. Now this incriminates all sorts of people right up to the high lines of royalty, right? Which is the line of Cleopatra, right? So these people are called reptilians because people will say Lizzie the Lizard, you know, like Queen Elizabeth the Lizard, Lizzie the Lizard, you know, her, the old reptilian. So everything like it, when you look at something, right, you form an opinion, right? You form an opinion from your side of the perception, right? There's nothing's wrong with that. But to form the opinion and stay in it when you know that other things exist, that's wrong. That's why you've been herded since, I don't know, February, March kind of time. You've been herded into your home. Stay indoors, stay off the streets, blah blah blah, because all the businesses crashed. All your financial district just went into a nervous breakdown, right? The Federal Bank of America has been printing like money daily to the extent that it has no value whatsoever. When you're trying to save money, right, you're not saving money because there's no money saved. When your pension, right, is going to get took, right? The city tax, all the buildings lying empty in the city are not getting any rent money, but they have to pay tax. So the tax money then has to be collected, which means that somebody has to fill up those buildings, right? So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? That's all aimed at breaking the stranglehold, right? Big stranglehold that's been going on by the, I would say, darker forces, right? We know, right? If, like, nobody has a problem with a pyramid, but at least have one that's fair and works, you know? At least have one where people benefit from the pyramid structure, from the stage of being born, to being educated, to being a slave. You know, at least tell us we're slaves. At least pay us the value that we're worth. At least allow us to have an access to, you know, our ambitions, like through the free will, or just being, you know, good at your job, or being a good person. All this stuff where you help each other out because of your wealth structure, and all that thought system has to go. Right? I was going to cover the story about, you know, the paedophiles, but other people are doing it. I had a whole case file ready to go on that, you know, and all the darkness in people's souls, you know, people like George Soros and the Clintons, the Bush family, right, and the Trump family have strong ties within the Great Deception, right? Uncle John Trump, the physicist, he was a guy that he was the original doomsday guy. He was the original doomsday clock. He was a guy that, he was the last person to move the hand on the doomsday clock. His nephew, Donald Trump, is going to be the next hand to move the hand of the doomsday clock. So what they're indicating there is time travel between their DNA. Also, John Trump was the person who removed the Tesla files as well, or the patents. They were then handed over to the naval intelligence, who at that time had a guy called William Cooper. William Cooper was a very highly ranked, respected naval intelligence officer who knew all about this. He also knew about things to do with Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. He knew that Neil Armstrong had created a treasure map of sunken galleon ships and other ships on the seabeds or ocean beds around the Earth. There was a lot of things that were going on. He knew about John Kennedy's fake death, how John Kennedy faked his own death to exist on the Antarctic, which has a connection to an ancient ruling race of humans, right? There's a lot going on because people have been, we've all seen it. We've seen the moon landings, we've seen the footage of the assassination. There's just not enough evidence, right? But it must be true, right? So the Kennedys, who are the Kennedys? Well, the Kennedys originated in Northern Ireland, or Ireland at that time, and they have connections to Scotland too. Now, they were very, very smart and very educated. They educated themselves up to the wisdom of the Babylonians, Mesopotamians. They knew that there was, they knew the ancient esoteric stuff, and they knew all the secret societies, and then they knew that the ruling races, they knew who was out there that was going to cause them problems, and they knew how to decide against it. Now, can we prove this? No. Right? No, you can't. You can't prove it because It's hidden. But the suggestions of it are out there. Right? Certain people will speak freely about it because they've been given that path to speak on. I'm not going to do it here. I don't have the permission to go into that in greater detail, but I can allow you to open up your mind to why do so many conspiracies exist round about that one event. You know, about the shooter, about how the actual bullet itself or bullets would have had to curve. You know, they had to go around the corners. I mean, it's just some of it, right, is incredible. Even the stuff that's put out there to counteract, to debunk it, it's all from the same people. Because the media outlets allow it to happen. What they don't want you to do is to be able to take in information that, like, people get. They'll complain on YouTube. I'm going to complain because a lot of my stuff's been tampered with. They've took out half of my stuff. Some of my stuff that I've tried to upload didn't upload. I've got many issues going on with YouTube. Not because I think YouTube themselves. It's who's working in the darkness behind YouTube. You know, those are the individuals who are messing with us. These are the individuals that send your information out to the shadow people, right? And they give you a visit, right? They give you a visit, these shadow people. I'm not talking about shadow people as in mystical or entities. I mean actual people that come from the shadows. You don't even know they're there. Those kind of shadow people. So anyway, they try their tricks on you, right? And you end up being the one that gets, you know, you get the bullshit for it. And the shadow people get to go free because you don't actually know who they are, so what can you say? I mean, you don't know. You just know you just know the part you took in it, which is to defend yourself and hurt and bite and all that kind of stuff as much as you can because you don't know what the fuck's going on. And it only lasts about 15 seconds and it's over. And then you're wriggling around on the ground wondering why you're fucking all these fucking hurts and pains going on. Then you realise you've been fucking stabbed, and before you know it, you know, you're the one getting cautioned for something that you don't even know what the fuck's happened. Right, now that doesn't happen normally. There's no reason for it. It's designed because, you know, you've got cameras everywhere. You know, you've got 5G, which can penetrate your walls and create a plasma type image. I don't know what the correct word for it is, but it can create an image that allows them to see how many people are in the house. You know, you just appear like a blob. It's like a pinkish kind of blob you appear like. So if they say how many people's in your house and you see 2 and there's like 10 people in it, they've got to just kick your door in because you're a liar. So if you say 2 people and there's 2 people in it, then they'll be fair with you and they'll ask both of you people to step outside, reveal yourself, come to the window or something. Right, that's the control right there. But they're also being controlled without realising they're being controlled. And this is a problem. It's proving that side. How do you prove that that the civilization that you're in is being controlled by a higher controller? Right, so what the problem is there is people will then flick that on and say that's to do with God. Right, well that's all and well, and I don't really want to go into that, but what I'm saying is it's being controlled by a higher source. So there's a higher civilization out there that's working away. So there is a higher civilization that's been guiding us. I don't know how long. I'm beginning to wonder how long, because when you look back through history, it's been the same thing. There's been a whole event written down there in front of us about this people or whatever it was coming down to the earth, educating, teaching, educating, handing over knowledge and technology, and then going away again. And then so many, I think, right, they come at the end of an age and the beginning of the new age, and they bring along with them the philosophy and the mindset for the age. The last age, which was Pisces, right? That was the age of religion. That was the age of control and the governing of the mind. That was the age of fornication and the mixing of genes and all the rest of it, right? That was the age where just everybody, just the rules of society were implemented, and the wars. I mean, there's always going to be wars, right? There is always going to be wars. So, the age of Aquarius is about enlightenment. It's about connectivity. It's about, knowing why you exist. It's about, it's like the golden age is the age of Aquarius. Somebody's going to step forward. Somebody's already here who's going to come up to the foreground and have that thing. They're going to have to fight the emotion. They're going to have the courage. They're going to have that thing. Those words that people, they know inside. They feel it. They know. They can hear the words as they come down. That person exists. Somebody is going to be that person. Somebody will come along that everybody will understand and connect to. And that person will be willing to guide them, knowing their own fate. Somebody's going to come along who's going to make sense, who's going to tell us what this is all about, who's going to show us what it's about, and then it's going to give them the answer to how do we deal with this. How do you deal with these events that you're going through? One thing is, you have to keep hold of your senses. You have to keep yourself open and aware. You have to be able to adapt. You might have to learn new skills and give old habits a goodbye. You might have to reinvent yourself. You may have to accept that the life that you thought never existed, because it changes. You see, every day is a new day. It's a new chance. It's a new opportunity. It's another moment for you to waken up and decide whether you're going to do something with the day, or if you've got to continue with the complaints of yesterday. If you've got to carry the bad attitude forward, because that's your reptilian brain. You see, I think you have to realise that having that is not a bad thing, because it has allowed us to have so many great people. So many great, and equally so many bad people. We need these people to exist so that we can learn, so that we can know who these people are. We can see the trait in them. The lesson has to be learned. It's a lot deeper than what people think. Your human brain, right? It doesn't do anything. It keeps you alive, it sends signals and blah blah blah. Your reptilian brain, though, brings out the loser in you as much as the winner. You see, this is why you can't control things. This is why when you try and control something, it may not work, because you're dealing with another brain. People will say, oh, that's your personality. No, it's not. How many fucking personalities do you think there is? It's not. That's a reaction. If somebody has a problem, right, then the normal thing to do is develop a problem within the problem and multiply it by 1,000 times by thinking about it continuously, over-analysing it. No wonder you feel sick or you've got a slight headache. I mean, God, just think about it once and your intuition will tell you the answer and you won't like it. The anger in people experiencing being controlled makes them kick out. It makes them react. It gives the exact reaction that a controller would want from his little robot. You know, you're being remote controlled through lies, deception, deceit. You've took part in this. We have all took part in this. We've all used the system, we've all been educated in it, we've all went to work or whatever it may be, we have all took part. You know, and we have all empowered. You know, the people have the right to remove these people. We have the right to remove them. The wrong way to do it though is to try and burn them down. Because then what happens is you attract your family members or people you know who are in the military or the enforcement into it. And then you complain and think, oh, you're in the enforcement, you're part of it. Look, that was okay. It's a blame game, you see. You start blaming other people. And before you know it, nobody really knows the true story. You know, the true story is you're being controlled by a higher advanced civilization. And I've been showing them off in my videos. And these serpents, right, in the ancient days are as valuable as today. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. I'm still trying to figure out what the serpent is. That's why I wanted to have a co-host with me. Because he knows more about this than me. I can tell you about it, right, because I've experience of dealing with dark forces, let's call them. But I can't tell you the mythologies and the theologian kind of side. Or else I'd have to use Google and start mucking about with that, and I would be constantly using you would constantly hear me clicking and typing. You'll hear me clicking away when I'm doing a video and I'm trying to zoom into it because I have to do it by hand. I don't have a button that says, oh, zoom in by such and such. I have to do it by hand. It's difficult because I'm using the OBS Studio. So I'm just ticking along with this little thing here, just for the moment. I'm gonna go and see what's happening here. Right, so I don't know why that happened, but something happened there. I don't know why. I just actually it's in. Right, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, something happened. So I would like to. I'm still here because I'm sure there's stuff that I didn't even cover that I wanted to cover. I'm positive. Because my brain's like that, you see, it just becomes scattered. And I record these broadcasts because I know that they're not going to get live. And I'm still doing them. I look at my videos recently and I noticed that there's been like 2 views and no views, and I'm thinking, what? So I've obviously cracked something. I know I've cracked something anyway. I do intend to do other videos, but I'm just doing this just now because I'm actually still trying to recover here. sometimes like, it's difficult, really difficult. Thanks.